My sister stole my partner publicly, so I introduced her to a man who left her in ruins. My younger sister, Chloe, has been a built-in rival since her birth, not just borrowing clothes or harboring innocent crushes, but actively stealing my partners. If I brought someone home, she'd have them under her spell within weeks. Sunday dinners meant she'd be texting them by the time dessert was served, post a sweet couple's photo online. She'd accidentally bump into them at their favorite cafe the next day. Everyone said Chloe inherited mom's stunning looks while I got dad's quick mind. The comparison stung, but I dealt with it until her boyfriend snatching began. It started subtly in high school. My then boyfriend, Ethan, suddenly wanted to study at our house every day. Chloe would saunter by in her dance team outfit, asking for help with her algebra. I trusted them both, blind to her tactics. Looking back, the signs were obvious. By our 20s, Chloe's methods were razor sharp. I dated Nathan for 6 months before bringing him to meet the family. A week later, Chloe had a crisis and needed his comfort at 3 a.m. They hooked up that night. Then there was Liam from my advertising job, same pattern. Family dinner, fake emergency, late night consoling. When I found their flirty texts, Chloe tilted her head with a coy smile. "I'm just testing them for you, Elise," she said, batting her lashes. Liam didn't pass. Deep down, I knew she had a point. If these guys ditched me for her so easily, they weren't the one. But that logic didn't soothe the burning betrayal. Then came Ryan, who nearly shattered me. We'd been together 2 years, talking about marriage after I finished my medical training. At his birthday party, which I'd spent weeks planning, Chloe got drunk and kissed him in front of everyone at a chain restaurant. When he chose her, she had the gall to post online. "Sometimes you just fall hard. No regrets." Mom scolded me at Christmas, her voice sharp as a blade. "Stop flaunting these men in front of Chloe," she snapped, mixing cranberry sauce. "She can't resist when temptation's right there. Why do you keep setting her up?" In my mind, I wasn't dangling anything. I was trying to build real relationships, only for them to collapse under Chloe's relentless charm. 3 months later, luck struck at my college friend's wedding in Seattle. That's where I met Noah, everything I wanted in a 62 package. Kind, thriving as a tech developer, and seemingly immune to manipulation. For 9 blissful months, I kept him hidden from my family. We went on dates in nearby cities, avoided social media posts, and I told no one. I thought I'd finally outsmarted Chloe's schemes. This was the healthiest, truest connection I'd ever had. Noah spoke of our future with such certainty that I started believing in happy endings again. But my talkative cousin, Megan, slipped and mentioned Noah to Mom during a call. Within hours, Mom told Chloe. My sister's sleuthing skills rivaled a private investigator's. She tracked him down via his company's website in days. The betrayal hit like a tidal wave when I walked into Noah's apartment and found them tangled in our bed. The worst part wasn't the act itself, it was Chloe's response. She sat up, completely unashamed, and delivered a gut punch. "Honestly, I did you a favor," she said, grabbing her clothes without a hint of remorse. "He barely lasted 10 minutes. You deserve better, sis." Noah just shrugged, not bothering to cover up. "Your sister's just too irresistible," he said. "You get it, right?" I stood there, shaking with fury and humiliation, while Chloe kissed him goodbye like I was a piece of furniture. That soul-crushing moment made it clear. Chloe didn't steal my partners to protect me or out of attraction. She did it because she could, because she thrived on watching me crumble, because ruining my happiness was her twisted pastime. Driving back to my car, hands trembling so badly I could barely grip the wheel, I made a choice that changed everything. Chloe craved men she couldn't resist? Fine. I'd give her exactly what she wanted, a package that would destroy her from within. The plan took shape during the hour-long drive home. Chloe always went for the same type. Handsome, charming, seemingly accomplished men who made her feel chosen. She never dug deeper than the surface, never questioned their pasts. That flaw would be her downfall. I spent weeks scouring public records, court filings, and background check sites. That's how I found Julian Russo, a strikingly handsome man posing as a venture capitalist from Phoenix. His ex-wife's court documents detailed years of financial and emotional manipulation, with 2 restraining orders from other exes and an ongoing probe for investment fraud. Perfect, Julian's online profile painted him as a polished businessman, complete with a headshot that could have landed him on a magazine cover. But beneath the facade was a cunning predator who preyed on women, leaving them financially ruined. I created a fake investor profile and pitched him a business idea. We met at a coffee shop in downtown Phoenix, where I played the heartbroken older sister. I showed him Chloe's social media photos, lamenting how she always stole my boyfriends because she was so gorgeous. "I can't compete," I said, my voice breaking with rehearsed emotion. "Every guy I love picks her." Julian's eyes lit up like a wolf spotting a wounded deer. He saw what I wanted him to see. A vulnerable woman he could exploit and a stunning sister as the ultimate prize. "You're incredible, Elise," he said, leaning across the table to touch my hand. "Any man who chooses someone else over you is a fool." He took the bait completely. We started dating, with me playing the smitten girlfriend while he set up his usual scam. Lavish dinners, weekend trips to Sedona, promises of a future, all calculated to make me emotionally dependent. After 3 weeks, I told him I wanted to keep our relationship secret from Chloe because of her history. Then I invited him to Mom's birthday dinner at a chain restaurant, knowing I was setting off a chain reaction. Julian thought he was playing me, positioning himself to scam me while eyeing Chloe as a bonus. He had no idea he was walking into my trap. At the dinner, he played his part flawlessly, ignoring Chloe while showering me with attention that seemed genuine enough to fool everyone. He praised my menu choice, laughed at Dad's terrible puns, and brought Mom a bouquet. But Chloe couldn't stand being overlooked, especially by a man so striking. She did exactly what I expected, touching his arm, leaning too close, whispering private jokes. Her flirting was so blatant even our oblivious parents noticed. I stepped away to the bathroom, watching through the cracked door as Chloe made her move. "My sister's nice, but she's so predictable," she said, trailing a finger along Julian's arm. "I could show you things she'd never dream of." When I returned and saw them exchanging numbers, I threw my wine in Julian's face and stormed out, fake tears streaking my mascara. It was the performance of a lifetime. Chloe called that night, her voice dripping with false concern. "Julian totally hit on me at dinner," she lied. "You're better off without him. Something about him seems off." Within days, she was posting stories from his upscale condo. Within a week, she was head over heels for his lies. Within a month, she'd moved in and given him access to her bank accounts for shared expenses. I watched from a distance, feeling a mix of satisfaction and growing unease. Chloe was walking into a trap I'd set, but after years of her breaking my heart, I couldn't bring myself to warn her. 6 weeks later, the first crack appeared. A lawyer for Julian's ex-wife contacted Chloe, saying she could be liable as an accomplice to fraud for hidden assets in his divorce. "They think I might be sued," Chloe told me, panic in her voice. But Julian explained it's just his bitter ex causing trouble. I made sympathetic noises, knowing this was only the start. When Julian's investment firm was exposed as a Ponzi scheme, Chloe had already sunk her entire $30,000 savings into it, thinking she was investing in the next big tech startup. The SEC shut it down and her money vanished. "It's a mistake," she sobbed in another late-night call. "Julian's lawyers are fighting it. He says we'll get it back with interest." But when she tried to leave after uncovering more lies, Julian showed his true nature. He grabbed her arm so hard it broke, locked her in his bedroom, and ranted about ungrateful women. When she escaped and checked her accounts, they were drained: checking, savings, retirement, plus $80,000 in debt from loans and credit cards he'd taken out in her name. The final blow came when FBI agents raided Julian's condo at dawn. Chloe's signature was on dozens of forged documents he'd tricked her into signing, implicating her in fraud, identity theft, and money laundering. At 6:47 a.m., my phone rang, Chloe sobbing from county jail. "Laurel, please, they say I could go to prison. Julian used me and the FBI thinks I helped him. I know I hurt you, but I'm begging you." I listened to the voicemail 3 times before deleting it. Soon, the local news ran the story. "Local woman arrested in multi-million-dollar fraud scheme." Chloe's mugshot aired on the evening broadcast, her face streaked with mascara, eyes hollow with despair. Mom called frantic. "You have to help her. She messed up, but she doesn't deserve this." "She made her choices," I said calmly, "just like she did with Nathan, Liam, Ryan, and Noah." The silence stretched until Mom whispered, "You knew who he was, didn't you?" I didn't answer. The truth was too tangled for a simple reply. Did I know Julian would destroy Chloe so thoroughly? Not exactly. Did I research him enough to know he was dangerous? Absolutely. Chloe pleaded guilty to lesser charges to testify against Julian. She served 8 months in minimum security prison, emerging with a felony record, ruined credit, and a restraining order against Julian. Family dinners stopped. Mom looked at me differently, torn between horror and grudging respect for my calculated revenge. Dad just muttered about reaping what you sow whenever Chloe's name came up. After her release, Chloe moved to Portland, working as a barista and rebuilding her life. We haven't spoken in 2 years, though I sometimes check her social media. She looks older, more guarded, her once predatory spark replaced by something quieter, wary. Sometimes I wonder if I went too far, if destroying my sister's life was worth the fleeting rush of victory. But then I remember Noah's shrug, Chloe's smug grin, and years of watching my happiness erode for her amusement. She got what she always chased, a man she couldn't resist, who just happened to ruin everything she had. I've been in therapy for a year, grappling with the weight of orchestrating someone's downfall, even someone who hurt me repeatedly. My therapist says revenge rarely brings the peace we expect, and she's right. I don't feel triumphant, just empty where the anger used to burn. But I sleep better knowing Chloe won't steal another woman's partner again. Some lessons come only through total devastation, and my sister learned hers the hard way. I thought it was over. Chloe was in Portland and I was here, living the quiet life I'd always wanted. No more tense family gatherings, no more guarding every new relationship. Just peace. But sometimes, peace feels like the calm before a storm. One chilly November evening, after a long hospital shift, I checked my mailbox. Inside was a thick envelope, no return address, just my name in a familiar, slanted script that froze me. Chloe's handwriting, the same I'd seen on childhood notes and birthday cards. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside were glossy photos. The first one stopped my breath, me at a downtown cafe sitting across from Noah. Not the smug Noah from years ago, but Noah now. Hair shorter, gray at the temples, leaning in like we were close confidants. Except I hadn't seen him since that night. The next photo showed my hands on the table, his reaching toward mine. A folded note read, "Think you're the only one who can play games?" No signature, but none was needed. I sank onto my couch, photos spilling into my lap. Who took these? How did they know where I'd be? Why was Noah back? I tried to convince myself they were fake, but details, the cafe's logo, my new winter scarf, proved they weren't. I'd been at that cafe 3 days ago alone, working on my laptop. These photos weren't just strange, they were impossible. That night I barely slept, jumping at every creak. The next morning another envelope appeared. One photo of Noah in my driveway with a note. "You never knew what we were capable of." I drove to the police, the envelope beside me. The officer skimmed the photos, frowning. "Any proof who sent these?" "Just a hunch," I said, my voice sounding distant. He asked if Noah had ever threatened me. I almost laughed. "Not him, my sister." He gave me a skeptical look, took my statement, and sent me home. That evening my phone rang unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. "Elise," Noah's smooth voice said. "Heard you've been looking at our photos." My grip tightened. "We haven't spoken in years," a low chuckle. "Not quite," the line died. I stood frozen until my screen went dark. The next morning I found muddy footprints on my back porch, small, a woman's. For a week it continued. Notes in my mailbox, silent calls, objects in my house slightly moved. I stopped sleeping, every shadow feeling alive. Then one Friday night, 3 sharp knocks. I opened the door to Chloe. She looked older, thinner, her eyes unnervingly calm. "You let me rot," she said simply. I didn't respond. "You think you won, Elise? You think you gave me the man who ruined me?" Her voice was steady. "But you forgot you gave him me." She stepped closer. "And he told me everything about you." My stomach dropped. "What are you talking about?" "Julian," she said, smiling faintly. "That wasn't his only name. You dated him first." The realization hit like ice. Noah, the timeline clicked. Noah's effortless entry into my life, his sudden shift to Chloe, Julian's perfect manipulation. They were the same man. "You set me up," Chloe said, her smile widening. "But you set yourself up first. He played us both. And now," she leaned in, smelling faintly of smoke, "I'll make you know what it's like to be hunted." She walked into the dark, not looking back. That night, I packed a bag, planning to flee somewhere they couldn't find me. As I backed out of my driveway, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. A photo, Chloe at a cafe across from Noah Julian, smiling like he had all the time in the world. Caption, "Round 2. That's when I realized our game was never just between sisters. We'd both been pawns in his scheme. I couldn't sleep, the image of Chloe and him burned into my mind. Was she under his spell again, or was this her revenge? 3 days later, she called. "Come to 48th and Pine, corner booth alone." The line went dead. I sat in my car outside the diner for 15 minutes before entering. The smell of greasy food and stale coffee hit me. Chloe sat in the corner booth, radiating confidence. Noah Julian sat across, watching me as I approached. "Elise," he said smoothly, "you're late." I didn't sit. "What is this?" Chloe tilted her head toward him. I told you round two. He leaned back. I wanted you both here. It's only fair. You think you ruined her and she thinks she ruined you. But I did it all, and I'm not finished. You're a leech, I spat. He grinned. A leech doesn't redecorate your life. I move in, rearrange everything, and when I leave, nothing feels safe. I turned to Chloe. Why are you here? You know what he is. Her eyes flickered. Because he knows something about you. Something you never told anyone. His gaze sharpened. Want me to tell her? 5 years ago, you weren't just a nurse with a sister problem. You needed money enough to do something illegal, selling patient records. Small time, but a felony. I helped you hide the money, you just didn't know it. Diane's jaw dropped. What's he talking about? He's lying, I said, my voice breaking. He shrugged. Maybe, but I have proof, and it ties to an account your sister got money from. If I go down, you both do. He leaned forward. So here's the deal, we stop pretending we're enemies. The three of us work together. There's a bigger game and you're not made for ordinary lives. The diner's noise faded. For a moment I considered it, joining the storm instead of running. But Chloe's eyes, already wavering, told me she was half in. That's when I knew this wouldn't end unless someone stopped it. I slid into the booth beside her. Okay, I said softly, but I need time. He smiled like he'd won. We left together, Chloe a step behind. In the car, she spoke. Were you really? No, I said, starting the engine. But he'll make it true if he wants. That's his game. What now? She asked. I waited until we were across town. Now we burn him out. 2 weeks later, Julian Noah was arrested in a sting for wire fraud unrelated to us. I tipped off the FBI agent from Chloe's case, covering my tracks. The morning the news broke, I got one last envelope. A single sheet, no photos, just 7 words in Chloe's handwriting. You think this is the end? I haven't seen Chloe since, nor heard from him. But some nights when the house creaks, I hear footsteps. And I wonder if I've restarted the game without meaning to. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more real-life stories, get more experiences.